In our next story, we head down to Rosslyn, which is just starting to plan its own extreme makeover.
Well, this is an exciting time for Rosslyn, Arlington County. We're seeing significant investment occurring in our county, particularly in our Rosslyn Commercial Center. And as we realize that important growth for Rosslyn, it provides us with an opportunity to develop an updated plan that will focus on how that private and public investment can be best coordinated and how we can ensure that Rosslyn continues to be one of the great urban places in the Washington metro area.
That opportunity has sparked Realize Rosslyn, an intense community planning process aimed at realizing the transformation of Rosslyn from a 1960s auto-centric plan into a vibrant and distinctive urban place featuring great housing, retail, and office space.
The history of Arlington's development is Crystal City and Rosslyn began first. And Rosslyn was built with the skywalks, connecting buildings above ground, and Crystal City connecting people below ground, in the underground. And we have since, for decades now, recognized that the best way to develop an urban place is on ground level. Bring people to the street, activate your public spaces, and bringing the street to life.
So right now we're really missing a sense of place. The Rosslyn has got a lot of challenges with lack of friendly sidewalks, lack of retail. It has a lot of topography. It had a whole sort of 60s dream of urban utopia with cars whizzing around on freeways above the streets. And so we have a lot of planning challenges that we need to correct for people to walk and enjoy and go to restaurants and circulate through this place.
One important part of the Realize Rosslyn process is seeking to identify the area's untapped resources.
What we don't have and what we need to work on are things like accessing the river. We've got the National Park Service and Teddy Roosevelt Island and the Potomac River really within steps, but very hard to access. We have a wonderful bike trail, but not always the easiest to access.
I think one of the top aspirations that we've seen emerging to date through the planning process is to make Rosslyn a place to go to and not through. Today there's a lot of traffic that is either trying to get to the Key Bridge or trying to get to other portions of the district that are passing through Rosslyn. How do we create sort of a public place in Rosslyn for people to want to go to enjoy, to shop and recreate? There are some public open spaces in the area, whether it's Gateway Park or Freedom Park, and they are there today as an asset, but they could be so much greater, whether through reprogramming, redesigning, or partial reconstruction. So I think that is a huge opportunity to provide the types of places that Rosslyn needs for people to be able to gather and just enjoy being in Rosslyn.
The results of this effort will provide a refined community vision to help Rosslyn reach its full potential while ensuring that voices across Arlington are part of the conversation. Recently, 50 lucky Arlingtonians went on a walking tour to get a sneak peek of some rare views of the National Capital Region, which all of us may someday enjoy.
A lot of the neighbors came, went to the tops of a few of the buildings, including the new Monday Properties building that is within a few months of being completed. And once you get to the top of that building, you recognize one of the amazing assets of Rosslyn, and those are the views. When you see beautiful pictures of downtown DC, they are almost always from our side of the river.
Those views are to be preserved and highlighted by a spectacular new publicly accessible observation deck that will provide the most breathtaking views in the DC region, and should provide Rosslyn with a hot new place to be.
We are a gateway in many ways to the metropolitan area and the District of Columbia. So we have to consider how that skyline shapes the view and the identity, really, of Rosslyn, but most importantly, how it contributes in terms of the scale and mass of future development to a great urban scaled environment for the pedestrian at street level.
This is the notion of staggered heights.
Rosslyn's future looks bright, but realizing that future won't happen overnight and it won't come without planning challenges.
One of the key challenges is stitching together sort of change on a site-by-site or block-by-block basis. It's not a clean slate. There are existing buildings that have been built over the past 2 to 3 decades, and how do you insert and infill new development in buildings that are more modern and that fit today's vision of what we want to see for Rosslyn, and how does that integrate with the rest of the existing fabric?
There's plenty to do, but lots of potential. Probably in the next 5 or 10 years, you will see a very different Rosslyn and feel a very different Rosslyn than you do today.
The county has a great new website documenting the entire Realize Rosslyn process. So to find out more, go to sites.arlingtonva.us/Rosslyn sector